He is none other than Matt Ryan here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, Matt Ryan?
I am doing great, Rich. How are you?
I am doing better for talking to you. I'll be very, very honest, Matt.
That's very nice of you.
So again, where did this all come from for a team that had one win and 2 straight W's, Matt? How do you ascribe this?
Yeah, it's a head scratcher for us. You know, we felt like the first half of the season just wasn't who we are, and we just weren't very consistent. And last 2 weeks, I think we played complementary football. We've done a good job in all 3 phases of just going out playing the way that we're capable of, not doing anything crazy, but just playing good football. And so, our backs are against a wall for sure, but it is nice to see us playing the way we're capable of playing.
And in terms of hearing about your coach being on the hot seat and how Arthur Blank was quoted almost after every game, did any of that play into you coming and your team coming together more cohesively, Matt Ryan?
Well, we all love Dan. There's no question about that. And I think, he's a great coach. I mean, he's awesome in the locker room. Guys really, enjoy playing for him. And so as players, you take, personal responsibility for that. You want to win games. You want to keep guys here. And it's been good. The last couple of weeks, the locker room and kind of rallying and heightening our focus and all those things have been really good. So we just need to keep that rolling. Did
the bye week help?
I think it did. I think it gives everybody a chance to kind of take a deep breath, get away from it for a second, refocus and re-energize, and gave our staff an opportunity to kind of do a self-scout and take a look at what we needed to emphasize in the second half of the season. I think we've certainly been better, since that week off, and we need to just, keep this momentum rolling.
And in terms of the self-scout, what did you find? Did you find anything? I mean, at this late, obviously, stage of your career, having been in it for as long as you have, any self-scouting on your part, Matt?
Well, I think, for sure, when we traded Muhammad, which was, always tough as players, he's a great teammate and is doing a great job in New England now. But when we traded Muhammad, for me, the self-scout portion of it was, okay, how do we feature some of these guys that we have to utilize now? And that was kind of the biggest thing in that week off, was saying, all right, what's a guy like Russell Gage look like for us in the offense now? How do we increase Calvin Ridley's production and use him in different ways? And that was kind of my focus, during that time was to find ways that we could plug those guys in and be more productive with them.
Matt Ryan, Atlanta Falcons quarterback, after an icy start, now heating up on the Rich Eisen Show here after 2 straight W's. What does it mean to you to be top 10 now on the all-time passing yards? Like, you passed Warren Moon, Matt. That's a serious name that you passed on that list.
Yeah. I mean, I've gotten to know Warren throughout my career and seen him a number of different times, and was a huge fan of his growing up. And I'm not sure anybody threw a prettier ball than him. So to kind of be on that list and hopefully to continue to work my way up it's pretty cool. And it's one of those things you think back to, like, when I was 10 years old, if you would have told me that, what would I have thought at that time? And I would have been blown away. And now, having done it as long as I've done it in the league, it's been a lot of fun. But hopefully there's a lot more to come.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the more to come, and I know, again, you're a team guy. Do you know the next name on the list for you, Matt?
Well, yes. Having answered questions about it yesterday, I do know the next name on the list, and that's a really good name as well.
That's John Elway. I mean, the Duke, man. I mean, that's amazing. It really is. That's a big name, too, that you've got right there in front of you.
Yeah, well, got a little ways to go, and hopefully a lot more wins between now and then, whenever that may be, and if it happens. But, John Elway, he's the man, that's for sure. And, it'd be pretty special to keep climbing.
Matt Ryan, Falcons quarterback, here on the Rich Eisen Show. Just apropos of outside, there was, as you know, the Kaepernick workout at Flowery Branch. Just was there any sort of circumstance behind the scenes that, if you will, just logistically messed with the schedule in a way for the Falcons last week, for you to be prepared for your game, et cetera, and so on, just behind the scenes?
It didn't affect any of the players or in terms of our scheduling or practice times or anything like that, or affect our meetings. I know there was a lot going on around our building for sure, and people outside of the gates, all those kind of things. There was just a lot of extra busyness that you don't typically see on the day-to-day. But as far as players, nothing really changed for us.
Yeah. I mean, because I just remember when I shot an NFL Network commercial years ago on the Falcons facility. I mean, this is when I had hair, and this is way back when you might even been in a high school, even, Matt, or earlier on in Boston College. We had Torrey Holt of the Rams come in and be part of that commercial, and he had to stay in a trailer way off the grounds because the Falcons wanted no part of a player from an opposing team in. And I could only imagine with 31 potentially other teams coming to a facility, that had to create some sort of logistical setup.
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely more security and more people around that you don't typically see on the day-to-day. So that part of it was a little bit unique.
Okay, so now
I got to find that commercial, by the way.
By the way, you know what? It was amazing. This is what the time it was. It was head coach Dan Reeves and quarterback Michael Vick in the Atlanta facility. And it was the Dear Mr. Fantasy was the song, and it said "Being Rich Doesn't Suck." That was the commercial campaign.
I like it.
Way back in the day, because as you know, it is all about branding, Matt. And it's about what people call you and how you go about your business.
I do know that.
You know what I'm saying? Have you picked up a theme in the way that I've reset your name throughout this entire conversation?
Yeah, I have. There's been ice in the veins. It was an icy win the other day. Very nicely done.
I'm just trying to give you what you want, Matt.
That's kind of you.
Do you want to play the drop that Matt Ryan provided us in the last conversation here that we use every single time here on the...
You got to move on.
There you go, Matt.
I see we haven't yet.
No.
We're working on it.
Like, Matt, I tried. I really tried, Matt.
I kind of feel like what a receiver must feel like when they go back to the huddle telling Matt, "I'm open."
You get frozen. You get frozen out.
That's what it sounds. That's right. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Is that what you tell Julio? Like, you got to move on. Is that what you tell him when he comes back to you all the time, or no?
Oh man, I'm probably a little bit more delicate with Julio than I am with you. That's for sure.
Oh man. Okay, so now, I mean, are you guys thinking playoff run? Like, actually verbalizing this sort of thing, Matt? And this, I know it's a one day at a time, one game at a time world, but is this the sort of conversation that maybe you're having after 2 straight W's here?
We got a ways to go, and we got to have a lot of things happen for sure. So that's not, necessarily the storyline for us yet. But I've been around long enough to know that crazy stuff happens in this league, and if you just keep winning games and keep playing good football, anything can happen. And so, until we're out of it, we're going to keep clawing and scratching and, trying to play the kind of football that we're capable of playing.
I mean, you're in the stretch of 5 straight games against division opponents. You've won your first 2. You've got Tampa coming in. And I know for a fact that you've had a Thanksgiving game in Atlanta before, because I was part of the NFL Network crew that hosted it, and Arthur Blank opened up his office, and I say that in quotes. It was not like a cubicle with like a laptop on it. It was this beautiful spot that all of the NFL Network folks came to. What are your Thanksgiving plans? How do you work that? You got kids, you got family, I'm sure, coming in. What is that over the steering wheel for a couple of weeks from now, Matt?
It starts with trying to get a W that night, and then we just delay it a day. We've got the weekend after. We pretend it's Thanksgiving on Friday, and have a little meal and enjoy it, and that's pretty much it. But it's just a delayed gratification of an eating fest, I guess. We just hold it off for one more day.
So what you're saying is you put the meal on ice. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying.
You just put it all on ice because that's what you do, because that's what you got running through your veins. Right, Matt?
You nailed it. Perfect.
Thanks for the call, Matt. I always appreciate our chats. You know that.
Rich, you are the best. Being rich doesn't suck.
Thank you, Matt Ryan.
Rich, you got to move on. You got to move on.
Oh, stop that. By the way, they cut out the fact that you said, I love you, but you got to move on, which is an outrage, Matt.
I know. I do love you, man. You're the best.
Thank you, Matt Ryan.
I love you, but you got to move on.
Thank you. There you go. Thanks for the call, Matt. Appreciate it.
All right, you got it, Rich. Take care, man.
You got it. That's Matt Ryan.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.